Hello, all. How are you today? I hope fantastic. Okay, well, happy Friday. Like I said, for the next few Fridays, we're going to be doing this mainly to kind of, with the way things have been going, with COVID and everything. A lot of us need to catch up on paperwork, so what we're going to be doing is taking just one day. Each staff is going to take one day out of the week and catch up on their paperwork. So once, we're all caught up and everything like that, everything's smooth sailing, start the new year off fresh. Then we'll be back and hopefully, things. There are going to be some changes at the beginning of the year. I don't know what they are yet, so I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to say anything out of turn, telling tales outside of school. I don't want to be doing that. But, so this will be our first one. And, with the holidays coming up, we're going to be missing days anyway, so, we'll go from there. So, today, since it is October, and Halloween is quickly approaching. Today we're gonna do. It was a class suggested to me. As to somebody said, watch a movie, which maybe at some point we can. I don't know if there's any good movies out there that we want to watch. But maybe before the end of the year, we could catch a flick together again as a group. But again, these classes aren't supposed to be 2 hours long, all in succession. So, and sorry. So the breakup, I should have said this earlier. The breakup is really, I'll be doing paperwork half the day today, and then for the second half in the afternoon is when I'll send out the virtual classes like this. So that's how it will work moving forward. Unless something changes and I do paperwork later in the day and in the morning I send out the class. But we'll go from there if that happens. But either way, how the day's going to be broken up. On Fridays only. Monday through Thursday, we're coming in. So, this class, though, which I think was very clever, and I don't think we've done it yet. We've done a lot, like, for Halloween in years past, but I don't know if we ever covered how trick-or-treating itself became a Halloween tradition. So, why kids dress up in costumes, come to strangers' doors to ask for treats on Halloween. And, the practice, honestly, can be traced back to the early Celts, early Roman Catholics, and 17th century British politics. So, it's been around for a while, but it's kind of a funny practice that you go up and trick or treat. People did, in my neighborhood growing up, people actually did the trick part, which wasn't nice. There was a neighbor I know that used to leave apples out every year just in a thing with their light off, but they would leave a bowl of apples. And pretty much every year their house got pelted with those apples. And I never did it, swear. But it did happen, and it was kind of sad that it happened. But I kept wondering why they left the apples out. Like, why do you do that every year? Like, maybe they think one kid took an apple and actually ate it. And there are also red apples, which aren't the greatest apples, Maybe if they were Granny Smith apples, somebody could use that. I don't know. But anyway, who am I to judge? But anyway, the trick part, I don't know, hopefully they'll get into that. So I'm going to turn my phone off before, just in case somebody calls during the class. All right, so let's get to it. So trick-or-treating, setting off on Halloween night in costume and ringing doorbells to demand treats, has been a tradition in the United States and other countries for more than a century. Its origins remain murky, but traces can be identified in ancient Celtic festivals, early Roman Catholic holidays, medieval practices, and even British politics. So the ancient origins of trick-or-treating. So Halloween has its roots in the ancient pre-Christian Celtic festival of Samhain, Samhain, which was celebrated on the night of October 31st. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom and northern France, believed that the dead returned to Earth on Samhain. On the sacred night, people gather to light bonfires, offer sacrifices, and pay homage to the dead. Yeah, and here's a little side fact. Did you know? Although it is precisely where and when the phrase trick or treat was coined, the custom has been firmly in American popular culture by 1951, when trick or treating was depicted in the Peanuts comic strip. So in 1952, Disney produced a cartoon called Trick or Treat. I actually watched that last night, featuring Donald Duck and his nephews Huey, Dewey, Louie, and a witch that it was not a fan of Donald Duck. Okay, so back to the Celts. During some Celtic celebrations of Samhain, villagers disguised themselves in costumes made of animal skins to drive away phantom visitors. Banquet tables were prepared and food was left out to placate unwelcome spirits. There you go. It's kind of like the Santa Claus thing, leaving out cookies, but this time for unwelcome spirits. Like, here, eat this. We're going to stay home. But here's a table in the middle of town. You guys go to town. In later centuries, people began dressing as ghosts, demons, and other malevolent creatures, performing antics in exchange for food and drink. This custom, known as mumming, dates back to the Middle Ages and is thought to be an antecedent of trick-or-treating. So that's just early trick-or-treating. So now we go to early Christian and medieval roots of trick-or-treating. So by the 9th century, Christianity has spread into Celtic lands, where it gradually blended with and supplanted older pagan rites. So pagan religions, those that didn't really believe in Christ, I think is what was called pagan. So weren't Christian. Or have anything to do with the Bible, really, or Jewish or a Muslim faith, because all of them really kind of believe in the Old Testament. So in 1000 AD, the church designated November 2nd as All Souls Day, a time for honoring the dead. Celebrations in England resembled Celtic commemorations of Samhain, complete with bonfires and masquerades. And that was November 2nd. Wow. So poor people would visit the houses of wealthier families and receive pastries called soul cakes in exchange for a promise to pray for the souls of the homeowner's dead relatives, known as souling. The practice was later taken up by children who would go from door to door asking for gifts such as food, money, and ale. So kids going out and getting a little drunk, apparently, became a tradition. I guess, candy is sort of that, that keeps kids up all night anyway because there's a little bit too much sugar for their system. Sorry, that's pretty funny. So in Scotland and Ireland, young people took part in a tradition called guising, which is dressing up in costume and accepting offerings from various households. Rather than pledging to pray for the dead, they would sing a song, recite a poem, tell a joke, or perform another sort of trick before collecting their treat. So that's how the trick started, which typically consisted of fruit, nuts, or coins. Well, I think I would have gone for the coins, but... All right, so now it goes to Guy Fawkes night celebrations. So tricks were actually not supposed to be something bad, apparently, originally. You were supposed to do a trick for the people. That's where it originates, is to be like, hey, I'm going to stand on my head. Now give me some candy. So not, hey, we're going to throw stuff at your house if you don't, or toilet paper at your house if you don't give me candy. So apparently throughout time we just got meaner and meaner. I don't know. Maybe not. Or nicer, or muddled tradition. So modern day trick or treating also has elements akin or the same as annual celebrations of Guy Fawkes Night, also known as Bonfire Night. On this night, which commemorates the foiling of the gunpowder plot in 1605, British children wore masks and carry effigies while begging for pennies. Remember the 5th of November. That's from, I don't know, the movie V, but there's remember the 5th of November. Plot, I need to know. So it's remember the 5th of November, gunpowder treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. So on November 5th, Fox was executed for his role in the Catholic-led conspiracy to blow up England's Parliament building and remove King James I, a Protestant, from power. On the original Guy Fawkes Day, celebrated immediately after the famous plotter's execution, communal bonfires, or bone fires, were lit to burn effigies and the symbolic bones of the Catholic Pope. By the early 19th century, children bearing effigies of Fawkes were roaming the streets on the evening of November 5th asking for a penny for the Guy Fawkes. Some American colonists celebrated Guy Fawkes Day, and in the mid-19th century, large numbers of new immigrants, especially those fleeing the Irish potato famine in the 1840s, helped popularize Halloween. There we go. So Guy Fawkes Day, I mean, there were traditions and things, but helped popularize Halloween itself as we know it more in the United States. So in the early 20th century, Irish and Scottish communities received the old world traditions of souling and guising in the United States. By the 1920s, however, pranks had become the Halloween activity of choice for rowdy young people. So guising they still did, putting on disguises, but not so much doing tricks, kind tricks for people. The Great Depression exacerbated the problem, with Halloween mischief often devolving into vandalism, physical assaults, and sporadic acts of violence. One theory suggests that excessive pranks on Halloween led to the widespread adoption of an organized community-based trick-or-treating tradition in the 1930s. This trend was abruptly curtailed, however, with the outbreak of World War II, when sugar rationing meant there were few treats to hand out. At the height of the post-war baby boom, trick-or-treating reclaimed its place among other Halloween customs. It quickly became standard practice for millions of children in America's cities and newly built suburbs. So no longer constrained by sugar rationing, candy companies capitalized on the lucrative ritual, launching national advertising campaigns specifically aimed at Halloween. So, those candy companies, which obviously probably had a big hit because of World War II and the candy rationing, and, Guy Fawkes Day, which had helped, kind of come over and celebrate with sugary treats. So, again, it's commercialism that really helps holidays really take off. So today, Americans spend an estimated $2.6 billion on candy on Halloween, according to the National Retail Federation. And the day itself has become the nation's second largest commercial holiday. Wow, I did not know that. So that is how Halloween began. So I'm guessing it's commercial holiday, so it's bigger than Thanksgiving. It's bigger than most, except for probably Christmas, I'm guessing, is the largest commercial holiday. Well, let's see. What is the largest commercial holiday? Let me look that up real fast. Okay, well, yes, it is Christmas, number one. This also says that Halloween is, well, they're saying that back to school day is actually retail wise much bigger, but it's not really, back to school isn't really a holiday. It's not a retail holiday. So Halloween is second, but the Super Bowl, which isn't a holiday, also destroys Halloween when it comes to spending or retail spending. But in terms of a holiday, though, Halloween is number two. These other things aren't actually holidays. We celebrate them like they are, but they're not actually holidays. So, happy Halloween. That's where trick or treating comes from. So maybe we can switch back to doing nice things and, teach kids to do like an actual trick. Like, the old, like, oh, I'm going to pull my thumb off real fast. Oh, it hurts though to do so. Give me a sec. Ow! Oh, I got it back on there pretty good. All right. But see, it's just a trick. Most people know how to do it. But anyway, so maybe we could do something like that and dissuade them from actually throwing things at people's houses, which is kind of mean. Anyway, hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all on, well, not this coming Monday, the 17th, but I will see you all on Wednesday when I get back. Okay. Enjoy your weekend. Bye, everybody.